Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint this beach scene, and we're going to be using palette knives tonight, so it'll be a little bit twist on our normal painting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it, and I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's in a chat tonight, so if you've got questions during our live stream, you can ask them, and I'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm going to be using a canvas panel today. When you're doing things with palette knives, it's handy to have a hardboard surface, so wood support or anything like that. But I like these Fredrix canvas boards for this. I've got the 9 by 12 inch size tonight, but you can use really whatever size works for you. I think this could be adapted, pretty easily into a larger size. What am I going to say? All right, so we're going to have a few different things tonight instead of all of the brushes, but we will have a few brushes because what we're going to do is paint in the background main colors, and then we're going to use a palette knife to give it texture and add our colors, our finishing colors on top. So for the main background, we're going to use a number 2 Aspen, just a large flat brush mainly for the sky because there's a lot of blending in there, and it helps to have a large brush to do it fast. And then I've got a 4-8 bright and then a 10 Filbert in the Aspen series as well. And these are all from Princeton, so thank you to them. And then as far as palette knives go, my favorite are flexible palette knives. So when you're looking for them, I don't know, that's the kind that I prefer. They do have ones that are stiffer. And I'm not really sure exactly what the benefit to that is. I haven't really figured out why you would choose one over the other. I don't do palette knife enough to, just full disclosure. I'm still kind of learning as I go. So this is probably, I don't know, maybe the dozen. I don't even know, maybe palette knife paintings that I've done ever. So
that's more than me.
More than you.
Yep.
But I really love it, and it's a lot of fun. So I know a few things, not everything about it. So if I get things wrong, please be kind. Yeah, so I like to use this one for like color mixing mostly. And then for the rocks, I think we're going to probably want some different sized and shapes. So sizes and shapes. So I've got a lot of kind of smaller ones here that we can use for some of the smallish rocks. And then on some of the larger ones, it'll be helpful to have some of these larger sizes just to kind of fill in. But I'm really probably going to be switching around quite a bit, between my sizes. So kind of doing some of the large areas with some of the bigger ones. And then when I get down into these little finishing touches, we'll probably move to some of the smaller palette knives. So if you've got different sizes, that will probably be helpful. Variety of sizes and shapes. And you can also use the paddles for this, the Princeton Catalyst paddles for this as well. I think that I might pull these out as well and use them. So, all right. What else? These ones are from Blick. And the link to Blick is down in the description. These are their Blick soft-handled palette knives, I think they're called. I'm not really sure, but they're really expensive, but they're worth every penny, I think. I like them a lot. They're my favorite out of all the palette knives that I've tried, and I've tried a lot of them. I started with plastic ones, and I've upgraded as I've done it more and tried more things. And I found, like I said, that the flexible ones are my favorite. All right, let's go over colors. Sorry, I'm talking a lot about stuff. Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, Yellow, Indian Yellow Hue, Cadmium Yellow Light, Cadmium Orange, Quinacridone Magenta, Dioxazine Purple, Unbleached Titanium, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, and Phthalo Blue with white added. So this is light phthalo blue at the end, but you can just pre-mix it. And then I've got a big amount of titanium white, and we apologize for the dogs. We're dog sitting for a friend that's in Disney right now. And so my son, who normally watches the dogs, is also at Disney. So weekend.
Separately.
Just separately. Totally, just a total coincidence. So we have no dog sitter, and we have 2 dogs instead of 1. So it should be really interesting. We'll see. We'll see how long they last before they have to go in their kennels. So we've got much more barking going on. They're going to be gone pretty quick. We'll see.
I think Fitzy was calling Mo out of the studio.
Was he? Fitz was like, you're not allowed in there while
that's happening.
Trying to let him know what the protocol is. Okay, so first thing first.
I'm a realist.
Spray your canvas with water. Really important before you start. Our line here is not quite on the 3rd, or kind of close to the 3rd, maybe. I don't even know, but it's like 3.5 inches down. 3.5. No, yeah, so not quite right on the 3rd, just like a little bit lower than the 3rd. So make sure when you're doing ocean scenes that you get a straight line. That's why I use a ruler here. So just mark out your horizon line. That's our main one that we need. And then what we're going to need is kind of a diagonal line from this rock. So if you want to mark out your rock, that's why I kind of drew it ahead of time here. Just mark it out about the halfway on the sky here. And the halfway mark, like right here, see, halfway up, that's where this little part comes out. And then it angles down. And it comes to almost the halfway mark on our canvas. Not quite, but pretty close. So right in here. And then you just sort of meander it up here. Like that.
Okay, real quick. On your white, it's titanium white?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Titanium white, yes.
Right.
I thought about putting zinc white out, but I don't think we're going to need it tonight. So this is a more heavy-handed kind of approach, to painting. We're not being real subtle with
okay, it seems like maybe you had said unbleached titanium. So
did I? Oh,
I'm not sure by chat
I probably
here.
did. There's no telling.
So there is no unbleached titanium out.
No, there's not. I'm sorry. Yes, no. And it's probably in my list, but I changed it. There's a couple of colors that are on there that I changed when I was doing my final look through of the painting. I was kind of deciding on, what colors I want. I haven't painted this ahead of time, so we're just going to wing it, and that's as usual. Just jump right in here and try our best. All right, that's all we can do. All right. So I'm going to get some yellow, and I'm using the corner of the brush instead of like the full brush because I only need it for about the bottom half here, and so that way my whole brush won't be, filled with it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add just a little bit of white, but it's really pretty bright right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the white on this half. And that'll just kind of make sure that it is soft. And so what we can do is we can like pre-mix it here so that we know we've got a nice blended sky. And then when we paint it on, it'll already be like ready for us to go. So I'm going to get just a little bit of pink. And I mean, like just a little bit like that. That's all you're going to need. And then I'm just going to kind of work it down and back and forth here. And I think that'll probably be good. So let's go ahead and use that. In fact, my yellow is almost too high already. Okay, so that's all I'm going to need there. I'm going to wipe that out really well. And then I'm going to get a little bit of orange, a little bit of magenta. And I'm going to go over kind of the edge of what I just have there and my white. Because they're not really vibrant. It's pretty soft, right? The sky. I'm going to try to get it before this dries. So try to blend this in and get it before it dries just really quickly. And if it's starting to get dry, that's fine. Just let it dry, Come back to it. It's not the end of the world.
Don't fight it.
Yeah. If it's starting to dry, you definitely don't want to mess with it. So it's worse than, going back over something that's already dry.
It's like that gorilla on that show last night. It's like if he takes the stick, let him have the stick.
Yeah.
He'll give it back to you.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the gorilla with the stick.
Yeah.
He's
We were watching a Bronx Zoo thing. I forget what the name of the show is. Actually.
the zoo. It's called the zoo. It's on
And
Discovery. Yeah.
They were working with the silverback gorilla, training him how to be able to sit still while he was going to get an ultrasound. And so they have a little stick, and they use it as a target. And one time he grabbed the stick, and so they just let him have it. And the keeper said, if he takes the stick, just let him have the stick.
You don't
So if
want
it's
to get
drying,
into a stick fight with the
gorilla.
silverback gorilla.
So if it's drying, just let it dry.
He's going to win.
Yep. The paint's going to win.
Exactly. The paint will win. So if it wants to dry, you're just going to have to let it dry. That's a good point, honey. All right, so I'm just adding my blue now at the top, but you can see it's kind of trying to turn my orange sort of muddy here. So I'm wanting to clean that out as much as I can and then very lightly just run that over. It's very tricky, actually. We've got a very small area here to go from blue to yellow, and you definitely don't want green in between. So it's a little bit, it's a small area to, hi Mo, hi Mo, what you doing? He's smelling my brush here. He's like, what are you doing? Hi Mo.
Hey, Mo.
Hey Mo. I'm realizing what a pill Fitzpickle is. Having Mo, because they're both about the same age, and Mo's a lot better behaved than Fitzpickle is. So I have been a bad dog mom, I think.
I was going to say, no, it's the breed of dog. It's definitely not the
spoiled.
owners.
Fitzpickle
No.
is definitely spoiled.
I don't believe that for a second.
Well, I definitely think Mo's smarter than him. He's either smarter or more obedient. So whichever you want to believe.
I think it has to do with the owners.
Yeah. Ultramarine Blue here. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave it because I'm going to have to give it a second coat. It's not covering, it's not, looking quite where I want it to be. So we'll just have to let that set and dry. And we're going to do a little bit on the water right here. So I'm going to get a little bit of that magenta. And right here, right in this little cove area, there's a bright part of the water. This is all rock, so I'm not worried about any of this. And then there's rock over on this side too. So both of those sides are going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and I tried to add the ultramarine blue up there, but it just didn't want to go on. So there we go. All right, so just softening it up a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this purpley blue color and add it. And I can just kind of get it like that, and then brush it down. Okay, that's good enough. Now I'm going to get blue and burnt sienna. And this is the Phthalo blue. Phthalo blue, burnt sienna. This is going to be our water color. And I want to go a mid-tone. I decided to go ahead and do a mid-tone. And then that way we can go lighter and darker with our palette knife. And we'll have a good kind of mid-range is our main color. And then we'll have plenty of room to adjust it on either side, light and dark. All right, so I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to go over this purple. It's going to blend with it just a little bit. And I'm going to go down to about right in here. So when I said angle it back this way, I mentioned the rock, and then I never explained what I was looking for. So there's like a little section of water that goes here, and then it kind of changes color, and it's a little bit more reddish toned down here. So we'll do that part with the blues, and then clean that out. I'm going to get the Quinacridone Burnt Orange.
We got a question.
Use that down here. Yep.
Somebody's asked if they, instead of gessoing a canvas, could they use a primer?
A primer. What kind of primer?
Oh, I don't know. We'll wait for the answer. But you can continue.
Because certain things are meant for canvas and some things are meant for wood. So if you're painting on wood, you can use a wood primer or something like that, but you wouldn't want to use a wood primer on a canvas.
Yeah.
So it depends on what kind of primer you're talking about. Like a spray primer, no. You wouldn't want to use a spray primer. Like a spray can primer that you would use to prime furniture or something like that, Okay, so I'm just kind of trying to very lightly kind of blend over. There's colors.
Sorry, I didn't read the question all the way.
Okay.
He said a wall primer. So
No.
probably not. No.
No, I probably wouldn't. Probably not on a canvas.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a latex, probably. Yeah, no. You can use acrylics on wall, but I wouldn't use latex on a canvas because they're not. I don't know if it's flexible enough for a canvas. Canvases move. Although this is hardboard, so I don't know. I know Jackson Pollock used house paint and what's his face?
Steve.
Roche. No, I'm trying to think of the name of the guy. I can't think of it. Anyhow, he did the bands of color on the canvases. It started with an R, I think.
Robert.
No, not shut up.
Ricky.
Not helping.
Don't lose the number.
It's the one that I was looking at from a distance and set off the alarms in St. Louis. You remember that?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Don't remember. Okay. Anyhow, so there are artists that have used house paints on canvas, is what I'm saying. Good artists that are in museums, but house paints are not necessarily made to be light fast as like the acrylics and things that we're using. So the problem that they're having with some of those artworks is that they're starting to change color over years. And it's not been that long since they painted them. It's like in the 50s, 60s, I think, most of them. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not, it's not a big deal, but I would research it and see. I tend to stick to art materials that are made for, what I'm painting on, just to be sure that I am not going to have any problems with it adhering to the canvas, one, or two, having fading issues or cracking or anything like that. All right. He's taken that to dry really quick. I'm going to go ahead and kind of try to clean that out a little bit because I'm going to need to use it again one more time on our sky just to do one more layer on it, although I hate to go over a sky once I've put it on because it never seems to look better. It always seems to look worse the second time around. I don't know why. But I think I'm going to use a little bit smaller brush. I think that might help. I think that brush was maybe just a little bit big for what we need. And I'm going to use a soft brush. Since I'm doing like a soft blend, I want a soft brush. When I'm doing putting on paint where I don't really care, I don't mind having texture, that's when I'll, pick up a textured brush like this. So that's the difference, if you're like wondering why I pick certain brushes over another. So with these rocks, we're going for texture, and not necessarily smoothness. So that's why I've picked these ones for, when we start to do the rocks. But for the sky, we want it kind of smooth. So
the Pro 1500 is dead.
Uh-oh.
There was no drying.
Oh, there was no drying. Okay. It's
give you a heads up.
Uh-oh. Okay. It is dead. It died, huh?
Yeah.
Mark's hairdryer. Well, the one in Spencer's bathroom works, so we can just use that one. It's fine. I'm just gonna do small sections. So I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow on there, and let me get a little bit of my, oh, I meant to get I have my Indian Yellow Hue. I forgot all about that one. It's really kind of in the wrong place almost, because it should be next to the orange. It's more orangey yellow. There we go. That's gonna be a good color for us down here. Much better. And I can, I could spray this again with water if I needed to. It's okay. Once your canvas is dry, you can spray it again with water. And the water always kind of just helps the paint move around a little bit better, I find. And I picked a canvas that was a little bit textured, so it would be more grippy when we put on our textured, palette knife part. So, getting some more Quinacridone Magenta now, just kind of slowly building it up and moving up the sky into the more pink range of colors. And go over this yellow section before it dries all the way. Get a little bit more of the white and yellow here. And just streaking that white through. Making some clouds, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the clouds on with my palette knife, as I like doing the clouds with palette knife, and it'll give us our sky a little bit of attention, a little bit of that texture too. So make it so that it's not so different, from the rest of the painting. Okay, so bringing my pink up here. I'm going to go ahead and do the pink, just pink and white up top here. There we go. And that'll turn that sky purple up there, going over that blue with the pink. And then just pick up my Phthalo blue. I haven't cleaned out my brush, but it's not going to hurt to have that pink in there. And then I'm just going to pull down over the top in this direction. These colors are all still wet, so they'll blend nicely for me. Just do these quickly. I think the key is not to overwork one particular area. Like, don't sit in one area and blend. Especially with this kind of thing, where you can, we may need to do this 2 or 3 times before we get it just right, and so I would rather have it, have to do more layers than to have it cause a problem where you've over blended in an area, because then what happens is your paint starts to dry and it starts to get sticky and thick and can cause it can just look a little weird. So
that's what happened to me.
No judging. Judging.
Yeah, my paint got sticky and wet, and then I looked weird.
Happened.
Yeah.
At a young age. All right, I'm going to try to get this a little bit more pink in here. And I'm very, very lightly now going over this area with a lot of white in my brush. And if I keep the brush strokes kind of horizontal too, you can see how it's kind of creating these streaks, but they look like the clouds in our picture, so we can leave them. We don't have to blend everything out. Everything doesn't have to be, just so it's all kind of part of it, and we can kind of create our own sky however we want to. Doesn't have to be exactly like our picture. Okay, so I think I like that pretty good. I'm gonna get some more of that blue and just go back down here in my water and clean up my horizon line, add some more of that, and then we'll be almost ready to do our rocks. I think we're pretty good on that sky. I'm happy with it now. So let's go ahead and just get some color on our rocks. Just some base color here. I'm going to use that darkest purple. Purple and a little bit of burnt umber here. I like to use purple instead of black. This is a chromatic black, it's called. So it's basically making a black with other colors. It's a colorful black instead of just black. It's a fancy term for it, but it's I honestly didn't even know that's what it was called until a few years ago. So it's amazing. I have to learn stuff because I'm doing YouTube. I'm pretty much self-taught as far as a lot of this goes. I did take some college art courses in high school too, but so I know the basics, but I painted a lot of years just whatever I wanted to and didn't I never really taught like terms and things, so I didn't teach. I taught technique instead of, kind of like what I'm doing now, but then I get questions like it's almost like pop teacher quiz time sometimes, where people ask me stuff and I'm like, I think that's what it's called, but
I mean, somebody figured it out at one time, right?
I know.
I mean, there were no rules at one point in the history of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody just made it up, so why not?
I know enough to try just to do my version of it and whatever you want to call it.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. It's pretty cool.
Thanks. So I'm just using this brush to block in the color here. And really I could use the stiff bristle brush too. I had planned that, but this one was already dirty, so might as well just use it. I'm trying to kind of get it sort of close to what I'm seeing in the picture. It doesn't have to be exact. Again, just have fun with it. Alright, so I need to bring this out just a little bit more because I didn't bring out. My water stopped right there, so I can't. It's going to have to come out to at least this far. I'll bring that up a little bit. Okay, and then it's going to come straight down almost right here, and then crumbs out this way and down into my water. And then it sort of angles back here. Alright, so that's pretty good. That's our front rock there. Bring that down just a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work. And then before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of my water here. So I'm going to have to go in stages and layer it back to front so that the things that, I'm seeing way back here are going to get the first layer. Okay. Let me see how I am on my water line there. That's what I suspected. It's kind of goes, it dips down right there. But Mark's not able to help me with this, so I'm going to have to fix this myself.
What can I help you with?
You're not be able to dry it for me, so.
Oh, well, you said we had an extra dryer in the other room, so.
Okay.
I can do it. I mean, I'll blow on it. I'll run it around outside like a crazy man with it if I have to.
Okay. Now just needed to make sure that this is not straight right here. So, but I can't use my ruler because that's, thanks. So let's go ahead and just kind of mess with our water here and then we'll give it to Mark to dry. So hopefully, I don't think Spencer took the hairdryer with him that's in there. Pretty sure he wouldn't have, but you never know.
There's 2 in
Oh, good. This metal one, the steel one, is really loud. The purple one's the better one. Did you hear me?
No,
I said the steel one is really loud. The purple one's the better one.
I got the purple one.
Okay, good. Check.
I got the purple one only because it was the closest one to me.
Nice.
I'm lazy that way.
Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to use this one here, and I'm going to mix up some light pink. Basically, the same colors as in our sky are in our water. That's pretty much how you can, you know, mix your colors. It's a really good rule of thumb. I'm going to get just a touch of the orange, so it's kind of a salmon color. And then over here, there's going to be a little bit more of the yellow, so I'm going to scrape that up and just plop it down, and then scrape up a little bit over here and add some yellow to it. Again, all colors that I'm seeing in my sky. And then once I get it mixed, I'm going to scrape it up and smush it down into a smaller area. The smaller the paint puddle, the longer it will last. So if you've got it super thinned out, it makes sense, you know, it's just going to dry faster. So when I'm mixing colors like this, I try to make sure that I have a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit of ultramarine blue now in my magenta. I haven't cleaned out this yellow, so I just have to be careful because it could turn a little bit green with that blue, but I don't have a lot of blue. It's magenta heavy, so it's not going to do too much. And I'm going to add my white to it, so I want a dark kind of mauve, a little bit more blue, almost purple, but not quite. There we go, right in there. So that'll be part of our cloud color. And then we can use some of these colors on our rocks, because all these colors in the sky are going to be reflected, so we can make make a decent amount of each of these colors to use in other places. And let me see. So let's make, I've got that light blue there. I'm going to make some light yellow just with the yellow. And then scrape up some of that. Bring it over here, grab some of my Indian yellow. Mix that in. I'm just going to mix up basically all the same colors that we used in our sky. And I could have done this beforehand and then, you know, dipped into these colors. You can do it either way. It doesn't matter. You know, if you want to have this already pre-mixed and ready to go before you do your sky, and then you know that they're going to match exactly, you could do that. Here's some sort of red here. It's got a little bit of the magenta and orange with that Indian yellow mixture here. I'm going to add some white to it because it's a little bit vibrant. That's a pretty red though, isn't it? Magenta and any kind of orange color, so cadmium red light, cadmium orange, any of those, even like a like a Pyrrole Orange or any of those Naphthol reds that are kind of mid-toned, they'll make this really beautiful red. Orange and magenta. I think it's prettier than even like a cadmium red that's medium that's already red. You know, I just think it's prettier. Okay, so that'll give us some working colors for our clouds. So I think I'm going to get a smaller palette knife though, because this one's a little bit big, but I will be able to use it in my water. So I'm going to go ahead and get that, a little bit of kind of all of these colors on here, just kind of a little bit of the yellow, a little bit of this pink, and I have some of that magenta color. And I'm just going to very lightly just start up over here, touch it down, see how it's just going to kind of catch on the texture of the canvas. I'm laying it flat. I have it kind of flattened out on the bottom of my palette knife here, so I don't have a ridge or anything. I'm just going to kind of drag it along here.
Hey, real quick.
I wanted a little bit more pink. What?
Somebody pointed out that you have 2 brushes in your water.
Thank you. I'll get those out here in a minute. Sometimes you'll get areas like that where it'll kind of do a little bit more than you want. That's okay. We can go back over those, and this is not our final layer. But we're just trying to lay down some of that color from the sky in our water here. And if we do this right, it will eventually kind of meet up with this color and be about the same, or close to, the same colors. I'm going to get a little bit more yellow. It just depends on what color kind of came out the first time around for you. So you may not need more yellow. You may need more pink. Depends on what colors kind of showed up when you did this. All right, then I'm going to get some of my blue. And some white. And just kind of lighten that up a little bit. Flatten it out again. And just, whoops, see? And you see how doing the mid-tone, now we've already managed to, we've got highlights just by having this darker tone in our water to start with. Okay, pretty. And then if you want a particular wave area, or, an area where it's a little bit more thick, you can scrape through. So you've flattened it out like this, then you just scrape through. And that creates a little thicker line on that tip of the brush. And then I can lay that out and kind of create waves with it, kind of set it down and sort of pull up. Keep them very small though. Let's see how that works. I'll need to do a little bit more. And then some of these are, a little bit kind of starting to have some wave action going on in here, so can be a little bit thicker and kind of in lines, sort of. They're sort of at a diagonal here. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to get a little bit more of that yellow, maybe a little bit of white, maybe some of that brighter yellow. And this area right in here has some brighter yellowish colors. And I got a little thick area there, but that's okay. right, so we're going to add darker colors in here too. So this isn't like the last layer. Just kind of going to be building up layers here. And we basically have to get kind of this area done, especially down in here, before we can put in these rocks and our clouds. So I'm going to go ahead, this is dry now. And I'm going to get a little bit of a rounded tip, one for our clouds. Keep spraying these down so they stay moist for us. And I'm going to get this kind of coral color that was sort of that red plus some white. The magenta and orange had a little bit of yellow in it. And I'm just going to kind of tap it on and tap it on this way. Tap it, tap it. I'm not really dragging it much. I'm just kind of tapping it back and forth. The tapping motion will create these kind of really interesting shapes. And using the smaller brush keeps it from, getting out of control on us. It stays small. Getting the magenta now. I'm going to go above that with a little bit of the magenta. Make sure the values are close together so that this isn't, these aren't too far apart in value. We can add a little white if we need to. But they should be just pretty close in value. I'm getting some of that lighter pink too here. Just adding. Okay, let's get some of this. I think the key is not having too much paint on here. I don't have a ton of paint, so I can't, I can't glob it on too thick. I'm spreading it out thin, and then sometimes I'm kind of just tapping it, and then sometimes I'm kind of scraping it so I have a little bit more to work with. So both techniques. Adding a little bit of yellow. So always the yellow orange starts, where are going to be facing our light source. So these clouds that are facing the light, the yellow side will be, towards this side. And then, our purple sides are going to be on this side in the top that are not getting the light. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to do much more than that. It's pretty subtle in our picture. I might get a little bit of this yellow and just kind of streak it up this way. There's some little bitty clouds up there. And there's some, I don't have this. I'm going to get like a little bit of a brighter orangey color to use right here. Didn't really mix a orange. Might even use a little bit of the Quinacridone burnt orange because it's got a really nice reddish undertone. Makes it pretty pink orange. We used it in our bonus video this month when we did. I'll have to show you the sky cloud colors, but we used the Quinacridone burnt orange on it, and it was so pretty. The bonus video. That's the Quinacridone burnt orange clouds up in there, and they're really pretty. A little bit purple with them, but and the Indian yellow hue. So basically the same colors as we're using tonight, just a little bit more intense. So you can go a little deeper with them if you want. You can go ahead and add a little bit of the Quinacridone burnt orange to this magenta color here. Do a little bit of it with our...
Painting all these beach scenes is making me really want to go to like
an ocean.
Hawaii or Tahiti or something. You're painting all these places and I'm here dog sitting.
No. Well, so we can paint it and we just imagine it and we don't have to actually pay to go there. Just enjoy it in our painting.
You
our painting.
You realize you're not a Jedi, right?
My mind tricks are not working.
No, they're not.
Working on you? Okay.
No. I think these are the beaches I'm looking for.
All right. There we go. Okay. So let's hurry up here. I'm going to get my 4 bright and some more of that dark color here. I'm going to get ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and purple. And we'll make this rock here that, oops, wow, I hope he went there because he's there now. I looked
It
up to look
wanted
at
to
it,
go
and
there.
he was there.
It just wants to be
He
there.
was there.
A happy little
Like,
rock.
I go here. Like, yes, you do.
Can I block fans that are taunting me by saying that they'll
Said
send
that they
us
live in
pictures from Hawaii and stuff?
Hawaii. They live there. I know
Yeah.
we have several that live in Hawaii,
I mean that is like cyberbullying, isn't it?
Haiti, different island nations. Cyberbullying. I don't think that qualifies.
Oh, okay, all right, all right.
You're help! I'm being repressed. That's a Monty Python reference. If you're new to our show, welcome. We have a lot of weird Monty Python references in our show, so if you don't know who Monty Python is, you might look them up. Look them up, I should say. Okay, so there we go. There's our rock. I don't know why I did that little bit there because it's not there. And yeah, that's about where it is, right there. And you find that things, farther away they get in the ocean, the flatter it's just the way your perspective kind of flattens out the farther away it is. So this one that's close to us, it's not flat, but if it was on horizon, we wouldn't see, we wouldn't see it as what am I trying to say? We wouldn't see it as dimensional, I guess. Okay. That's all.
I love you. You get real quiet.
I know. I'm trying to figure out what I was trying to say there, what point I was trying to make. It didn't really make sense to me, so.
So if you figure it
Not
out,
really
just
sure.
leave us a comment so we know what we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so right in here, this one kind of comes down like this. I should shoot. See, I'm jumping the gun here because I really don't need to put him in yet because I don't have my water done in this area. But we'll just have it and we'll paint over it and then we'll paint over it again. It's okay. It's all right. There we go.
So if you are new to the channel, welcome, and hope you hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
Give us a thumbs up, even if you're not new to the channel. And down below this video is the list of all the supplies and links to Amazon and, as Angela said earlier, Blick and the brush guys and so forth, where you can buy different stuff.
Yeah. Yes. And we're appreciative of all those who support us and buy stuff through our links. It helps our channel out quite a lot. Also want to mention that we're doing a special giveaway. Our Kaleidoscope, we're participating in this thing called Kaleidoscope 2021. It's with Tamara Laporte with Willowing Art, and she does these different video series. And so we're going to be participating. Our free bonus video, the it's called a taster video, will be this one that you can watch for free this week. So if you go to my website, you can sign up for my newsletter, enter the giveaway, thankfulart.com. Enter the giveaway, check out the link to the Taster Week if you want to watch this video and see the other 15 artists that are participating in the series with me. And then this is my main video, and then I did the lemon for our color video. So I kind of played with the color yellow to see kind of what colors, shadows and things I could create with it. So anyhow, it was a lot of fun working on those. I was really excited to be invited because I've been wanting to participate for a while now. So I'm really thrilled. And so yeah, if you want to get, it's like well, there's all kinds of information there. If you go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, then we'll send you a free color chart, and it enters you into the giveaway also. And if you're already part of my newsletter, still sign up if you want to enter the giveaway. We won't send you a duplicate email if you use the same email that we already have.
Check.
Okay, let's keep going here. Sorry. Wanted to be sure I mentioned that because the giveaway starts this week, and it'll be over by next week. So it won't be, we'll miss it if we don't say it now. So, okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this little guy maybe and start putting in our rocks. So I'm going to get a little bit of the Ultramarine Blue and Phthalo Blue, and I think this is going to be our main rock color. Our shadows and things are this kind of blue. It's really pretty. I love using blue in my shadows, blues and purples and things. So I think that's what drew me to this picture, because you've got these yellows and then you've got these really pretty blues in our shadows and things. So I'm going to use purple and magenta here. I'm going to get a little bit more purple here and have some purple, magenta, and even some of the Quinacridone Orange with the purple. It makes a really beautiful burgundy color. See how pretty that is? So we'll use a varying shades of this on our rocks here. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with my darkest colors. Kind of pull up from the bottom here. Somebody's here. Mo, get out from under my table. Huh? You need to do the side cam, show Mo.
I like how you said that. Somebody's here.
What'd you say?
I like how you said that. Somebody's here.
Yeah. Somebody's rubbing against my leg there, getting in under my table. All right, so kind of putting my color down fairly thick here, and then that way I can kind of get it solid where I want it a little bit more solid. And then just pull down. And my original color is still a little bit wet, so it's scraping off, so I just need to be careful not to scrape too hard. And he's gone. I hope they're not getting into any trouble out there, unsupervised. Okay, they're good. Okay. They're both a year old, so they're kind of getting out of the puppy stage. They're not as destructive. They don't chew on stuff they don't need to and stuff. Not as much as they used to, at least. Well, I don't know about Mo, but Fitz, at least. Mo's not ours. But he's a good dog. Mo. 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 What you doing? He's got the prettiest eyes. Look at those eyes. Look, good boy. Well, I don't know where I'm looking at him from. Like, through the camera. There we go. I know. Yeah, I'm looking at him through the camera. There we go. Hey, Mo. Say hi. You're on camera. Okay. I think Fitz wants to go out. I can hear him scratching at the back door. I'm going to spray all these because these are going to dry out on me. I'm going to get I just added a little bit of white to my blue here just so it's a little bit brighter. There we go. That's probably a little too bright. You can see my values are a little bit bright, you know, for the reference photo. But I can scrape back over them, kind of tone them down a little bit. Okay. I need to just let that go because it's getting too thick with paint. It's kind of gets to a critical mass where it just won't add any more paint after a while. It just smushes around and mushes. All right, I'm gonna do my waterline here. Gonna check my waterline, get my brighter blue here, and just kind of use the edge of my brush here, or my palette knife, and scrape up against the side of that rock to create my waterline. It should be fairly close to the watercolor that, you know, we've been using, so that it's not like so super noticeable. It should kind of just blend in a little bit, but, you know, just kind of clean up that edge since we just put that color on. Okay. These areas down here that are closer to the light, I'm going to do a little bit more golden colors, more of that Quinacridone burnt orange mixed in. Clean over. Don't worry about this rock because I'm going to put him on too soon, so I'm just going to have to.
We have a painted related question.
Okay. Up what?
A painting related question.
Okay.
Person wants to know if you have any recommendations on how to relieve stress in their neck. And when they're painting, they get a stiff neck. So is there a certain, angles or heights or chairs or any advice you got from all your
I find that
years
if I
of
can
this?
paint like waist high, that's better for me. But, it does kind of, I am looking down though. So, some find it easier to stand or do an easel where they're not having to change their posture. They can keep their posture looking up. So you might try, putting your painting up on an easel or something where you're looking, sitting upright more. But yeah, I mean, if I sit for a while, I feel it for sure. I would say I invested a couple of years ago because Mark was tired of giving me neck rubs. I invested in one of those shoulder massagers. So it's kind of the width of your shoulders, and it's got two rotary things in it that do heat and massage, and it has straps where you hold on to it with your hands, so you can pull down and put pressure on it. Anyhow, I think I have one in my Amazon shop, the one that I bought on Amazon. I think it's in my shop, but I don't know what they're called exactly. But that has been a lifesaver, I have to say. it has.
Your husband does a pretty good job.
No, but you don't do it hard enough, and then you get tired.
Okay.
You don't. I can tell. You're not. I don't feel guilty making it massage my shoulders. So.
So check. I don't have to massage shoulders
Get
anymore.
your-
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that's really helped me because I still do suffer from that too, though. You know, sometimes more than others. It just depends on what I've been painting. I find that I have problems if I'm looking up and down at my monitor a lot. So you could try making sure that you've got your reference photo maybe on your table. I don't know. Or set up where you don't have to look up so steeply like I am doing. Oh shoot, I was going to use that to talk about our values, but oh well, too late now. I'll grab it if I need it or something. I'm just going through here. I've got a little bit of the It's not bad. I'm kind of brightening up the colors a little bit because I felt like the dark, it was pretty dark. But if you want to keep it closer to the values of the actual photograph, you can use a little bit darker tones in your rocks. It's up to you. But I find kind of just scraping down, maybe putting a little color on and then scraping down over it, you can kind of adjust it a little bit. So, put it on. I've got it pretty thick here. I'm going to kind of lay it on fairly thick in this area. And then set it down. Once I've got it there, set it down and just kind of scrape down. See how that kind of creates that dragging, a little bit of that texture. And then if you cover too much of the background up, I went back through with the purple there and added more of it. So you can go back and forth over it. You don't have to get it right just the first time. I'm going to pull back up with a little bit of the pink. So I've got a couple colors in here. Go a little bit darker. Get a little bit of that ultramarine blue, a little bit of phthalo blue. Mix those together with that magenta. A little bit of that lighter color. I'm kind of running out of my lighter color here. And that's pretty bright. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of, it's a little saturated, oversaturated. That makes sense. So I think I'm just going to dull it down a little bit, kind of gray it out. I'm going to use a little bit of this Quinacridone Orange to do that. See how that's going to make it more of a brownish blue instead of that kind of bright blue. Just a little bit more natural looking color. So, and I want to really kind of get a straight edge on some of these rocks. So, and this is better too. Down in here, these are darker, so can get some of the purple and ultramarine blue with the burnt orange, burnt umber. That's good. Okay. I'm just kind of adding some of that darker color. And I'm going to go back over here and pull up over some of these a little bit. And I'm definitely going to have you dry this for me, hon, so that I can, well, actually I can let it dry while I'm doing the water part. It'll be, we're already an hour in, making pretty good progress. Okay, so this is that burnt umber with the the ultramarine blue and phthalo blue with the quinacridone burnt orange, not burnt umber. Okay. Okay, just kind of very, very lightly, once I kind of get those colors on there, kind of setting my palette knife on them and brushing down over the whole thing and just kind of making them sort of blend a little bit there. It's doing all right though. We're getting kind of it feels like a rock to me. So I think we're getting the feel. Let's get a little bit more of this lighter blue. And this paint's real wet right through here. So it's really picking it up and mushing it around on me as I'm adding it. Okay, so let's go ahead and leave that. And bring it all the way down into the water here. Again, these colors are pretty bright. So what we could do is if we decide, at the very end that we don't like the tone, we can always glaze over the dry paint and change up the color story a little bit. So we can, there's lots of different ways of adjusting this to, suit our taste. So we don't have to get it right just on the first try. And I think these are pretty bright overall. They're a little bit bright. So I know that. I know. I know. We're not quite there yet. We'll get there. Okay, so I'm going to use the Quinacridone Burnt Orange, a little bit of Burnt Umber, and do this area really dark down here in the water. We kind of started with the mid-tone, but it wasn't quite dark enough back in here, so just kind of darkening it up in this area. And then I'll get that kind of lighter color and just blend it through. You can see why we don't put the front rocks in until we get the back stuff done, because it just, you're just painting it over.
Well, I'm glad that you plan to do that, quote, mistake to show everybody.
Right.
Well executed.
Right. Well executed mistake.
It didn't look like you did that on purpose at all.
Right. So mixing some teal with the phthalo green, phthalo blue, and burnt sienna. Mix that to see the teal green color. And this is what we're going to use in our water with this burnt orange. So. The burnt orange is still wet, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it.
So while I was out, did you talk about Patreon?
I did not.
Okay. Well, I will, since you fixed my button.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/AngelaFineArt, where there's traceables available and bonus content and videos. It helps support the channel. And so, yeah.
Yeah, we got all kinds of fun stuff. You saw the video, or the video we did for our bonus video, that ocean landscape with the shown with the sky colors earlier. But that's the kind of thing we do for our bonus videos, and we've got several years worth of bonus videos that you can watch in our library that are not available anywhere else. Not on Patreon, not on YouTube. So, and we don't always do landscapes. There's all kinds of animals, lots of animals and flowers, just different stuff that we don't have time to do on YouTube because they take a lot longer to do. So we're talking, good 4 to 5 hours usually on average.
Yeah, the Sunday bonus video is one video, and it's
Right.
about 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
And then the challenge image is every Thursday through the month, and so that one
That's
can
the
be
$10 level.
that's the $10 level, and that one can be upwards to 8, 10 plus hours,
Right.
depending on
Miss out.
what's going on.
Right.
Did you say that?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
but
good.
you were just jumping in and saying the Tuesday. You didn't mention that it was a
yes.
different level.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
yes, just making
Good
sure that's
clarification.
clear.
Yep.
It's not the same.
And thank you to the over 3,600 supporters over there. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Crazy amazing. Right. I'm out of burnt orange of all colors. Interesting. Okay. Wait. Don't. Okay. Sure. I need to get some quinacridone, some burnt umber and purple here. And I noticed that I didn't bring this down quite far enough here, so I'm just bringing down some of this into the water down here. There we go. And this area is pretty dark right behind it up in here. Okay. Okay, so now this is kind of dry enough that I'm able to kind of get in here and kind of fuss with it and use this really dark color to add some lines back in. And again, when I want to add lines, I make sure that I've got a bead on on here so that I can almost basically draw with it. Just kind of angle it slightly down so that that line is right there, and there's just this long crack that kind of goes along right here. See? Okay, just kind of now refining these a little bit. Alright, like that. Let me get a little bit of this blue from the sea and add it up here. Then more turquoisey blue. Okay, very good. Now get a little bit brighter. This blue down here is pretty dark. It looks light, but the only reason it looks light is because it's up against a dark area. When you've got a darker area, it affects the look of your values quite a bit. So I'm using some of this purple down here in the water too. Some of this purple with the burnt orange. Just down here, there's some reflections in the water of that dark purple. Get more of that darker burnt orange. Use it also. And then this turquoise that is kind of a mid-value, but because we're putting it on that darker color, it really looks like a highlighted, you know, it looks pretty bright. This doesn't have to be, what I'm saying is you don't want to go this bright in this area here, because then it would really stand out a lot. But I do want to take some of this darker color and add it here and there in my water, the teal, the darker teal. And I can find some of these areas where I've done that light color, these light streaks, and just kind of come up under them and give them a little shadow. And then in here there's some pretty good waves coming in that have quite a bit of the darker color. So up in here it's pretty sparing, not super obvious. But then down here we start to get really dark. In our shadow areas, I mean. Getting some of that purple. I'm going to kind of run a line right through there. Okay, getting that lighter color. I'm going to add some white to this. Pull it down at an angle. And these are only on these ones that kind of look like waves. yellow. There's little bits of yellow in here. And just kind of finding little pockets of highlight that run across. So little pockets of this color, these colors running across. That's how the waves kind of hit, the light hits. But there's, you know, there's little dips and things in here, but I'm talking about like here, you know, we've got this kind of color that kind of meanders all the way through, and then we've got this darker color that kind of comes above it, and then another area here of the lighter that comes through here. So that's what we're kind of trying to do with this. We're just trying to it's broken up somewhat, but there are these kind of lines that we're following, and that's what I'm trying to kind of get here. Lines broken up here and there through, but kind of following a general direction. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in here where I put these darker colors back up in here and just kind of tap in through and make sure that they don't look like they're just stuck on top, you know. All right, let's do our little rock here. So he's already got most of his stuff done. Let me get that little bit of the blue. I'm going to start up here. And he's got kind of a rough texture, so I'm not going to do it as solid as I did on here. Okay, and then I'm going to get the pink. Burnt orange. I need the value to be a little bit darker, so the burnt orange will help. There we go. It's going down to that water, but then in the end here we've got this dark section, so I'm going to make that dark color. Right here. And this comes out kind of like this, down into the water. Right into here. So we'll just bring that up and shape that out. And then just to kind of define this a little bit, I'm going to kind of make it a little bit brighter right there. And just make that little sharp spot right on him. Okay. There's some rocks down in here. I need darker color. I'm going to mix up a good amount of it because I keep running out of it. So I'll just go over here. Well, I had some right here. Didn't even notice. I'd already done it.
That brush needs to go under the water.
Okay. Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Umber, and Purple. Before I do anything else, too, I'm going to get a little bit more of the colors I've run out of. You go make yourself some dinner. Go start on it.
I'll be all right.
Is it too late now?
No, I'll be all right.
Okay. I'm getting close to the end here. These last few rocks aren't going to take very long. All right, so we'll use this dark color here. Got the rocks kind of with the light color here, but I need the dark parts in here. And they do kind of meld into the water a little bit through here. So this water is so dark that you really, it's hard to tell where exactly the rocks are, starting in some places.
We got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says that you often use ultramarine blue
Mm-hmm.
and burnt umber.
Yes.
Is that the equivalent of Payne's gray?
Payne's gray is black and burnt umber, so it's close. But so you could use it instead, though. If you've got Payne's gray, you could definitely use that instead of this mixture. This mixture's, I find, I like it because I can alter it really easily. So if I want it a little bit more brown, I just add a little bit more burnt umber. And if I want it more of a cool gray or dark, color, I can add more blue tones. And if I want it just a neutral in between, then I do 50-50. So it's really easy to kind of edit and create any, kind of gray that I want with it. So that's why I tend to use it. Although one of my new favorite dark, it's not a gray really, but my new favorite dark color we used in the water of this one here. Down in here. And we should see if chat can figure out what colors those were. I don't know. I stumbled upon them myself, They're not a normal color combo that I use a lot, but I will be using it more because I love the blue that they create. But it's ultramarine. It's phthalo turquoise and magenta, Quinacridone Magenta. Who knew? All right. So there's that color. Here's this rock here. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of draw it in where it's going, down in here. There's another one right here. It's actually pretty easy to draw these in with the palette knife. So the only bad thing about doing it this way is that they're pretty thick with paint, so it's kind of hard to add more paint onto them when you do it this way. But they're kind of going on with, some of these other colors that are underneath them. So it's actually kind of interesting. There's, some of the undercolors kind of peeking through, which makes it look like highlights. So it's saving us from having to put all the highlights in on top. And you could do whatever you want with these rocks. But I like them. They're really cool. It's fun. I find something about the palette knife is very freeing. I'm able to paint a lot looser with the palette knife just because I can't paint more, I can't paint more detailed, I'm just not able to. So it kind of frees me up to just kind of be like, okay, well, that's going to have to be good enough, and it still looks great. It's just a different approach to it. It doesn't have to be fully realistic. You can still get it fairly realistic without, doing it totally detailed, every little section. Okay, so I've got all these mauves and pinks in here, so it doesn't really matter exactly, but I'm going to highlight this rock really bright right here. Pulling it down. And that paint is still wet, but it's actually doing a fairly good job of it. I'm going to highlight right here, if I can get it on here, just that top part right there. And this rock's got kind of some blue. I'm going to get some of this blue. Maybe not that much, just taking off some of it. Putting some blue on here. Get a little bit more of the blue right on here.
Yeah, like you said, the pellet knife kind of gives you the hint of a shape or a recognizable form, and then you fill in those blanks and say,
right,
oh, that's
your
a
brain.
rock, that's
right.
a water, that's a this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so I've tapped on here this way with that kind of lighter blue, and this is going to be our suds for our ocean spray. By doing that, it kind of breaks up that color on the brush, and it makes it go on.
Pellet knife.
Pellet knife, thank you. Makes it go on a little bit more textured. You can just go through and edit out all those for me later when I, just palette knife. Ornament. Gosh, it's been so many years. There's probably some watching that remember the ornament.
Oh yeah.
Video.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many. That's a classic.
And see, I did that a little. See how much brighter that is? It's probably too bright because that's in my shadow area. So it's in, it's in that darker area. So I need to tone it down a little bit. I'm out of my teal, so I'm mixing up a little bit more of it. That phthalo blue and burnt sienna with my white here. So I'm going to use that. Yeah, a little bit more mid-tone color right there. Okay, and I got a little thick area right there. No, not that thick right there. My brush is just getting thick with paint. I think I can get that off somewhat. So I think that was sort of dry under there. Okay. Quinacridone burnt orange there. And then let me get a little bit. Let me go ahead and just tap it. I think that'll be good. And I can tap through here with this. I've already got some of this in here already, but this is just a little bit lighter color. Right up against the rocks. Make sure that you've gotten some against the rocks, and then there's a little section right in here where the wave's kind of coming in, and then there's some splashy up here on these rocks. So
technical ocean term.
Splashy. Check. They come here for the terms.
Right.
They know I'm always down with
it's the education that they get that's well beyond just art.
For somebody who's so into grammar and stuff, I am really lax with my terms when I get to painting. It's like, I don't care. I found out that I've been using words wrong for a while, this terms. The other day I told Mark, he was like, I would not even have cared. Basically what he told me. I'm like, yeah, I probably don't use that right either, but I don't care. I'm like, yeah, but I've been using it wrong. I'm an art teacher and I've been using this word wrong for years, or thinking that it's the same word, totally different words. It's complementary and complementary. So complementary, where you use it on a color wheel. Okay, I'm making up kind of a gray, adding it with this blue that I've got on my brush here, or my palette knife here, the yellow oxide. Just kind of trying to get some, and that's really not what I want, though. I want more of a pink. Oh, this color's still good. Oh, I have this bright pink. This is what I want right here. There we go. We'll get this, and we'll get a little bit of yellow, so it's a little bit more of a toned down version. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to use that all in through here. There's like a little reflection in the water that comes down right here. Like that. And then it happens right here too. Right between these two rocks. And back in here too. Starts up here. Kind of works its way between these two rocks. So yeah, look it up. Complementary, complementary. Two different things. I didn't know. I've been using them interchangeably for a while, I'm sure. Thinking that they were the same, but they're not. They're spelled different for a reason. Hoping I never spelled it wrong when it mattered, but I probably did because I didn't know that it was a thing. So
That's okay. I still love you.
Thanks.
I mean, my friends and I, we kind of talk about it when you're not in the room, but
Right.
you know.
They're like, she didn't.
Really? Did she just say compliment when she meant compliment? Oh my God. Wow, how do you live with that, Mark? And I'm like, well, you know, I just let it go. She's cute when she says it.
Pick your battles.
Exactly. Right.
You can't sweat the small stuff when you've been married 33 years.
It's when, you know, like when Liam's learning to talk and Angela's trying to say compliments, you know, it's kind of...
When I'm trying to what?
It's like on par with Liam, you know, learning to talk.
Right.
And Angela saying compliment when she meant compliment.
Oh my God. Well, when you say it that way, I think the only time anybody would ever know is if I was spelling it. Okay. Point made. But I'm just like, I'm like, what, 50 something years old, and I didn't know this. It always amazes me, the things I don't know. The older I get, the more I realize it's a lot of stuff I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I thought I knew that I don't.
Okay, now back on a serious note.
Okay.
Somebody's looking to buy palette knives.
Okay.
And so which ones are you...
These are the Blick brand.
Okay.
So you can only get them on blick.com.
Okay.
And they're the... I think they're called the soft grip or something like that, but you'll know them because they're the only ones that have these blue handles.
Okay.
So the blue handles, and they're like the dark. They're not silver, so they're dark metal.
Okay. And if they're going through the Amazon link, they're saying that there's traditional ones, I guess, which are the metallic, and then there's plastic ones. But apparently the plastic ones are like more than 2 times more expensive.
Oh wow. Yeah, on Amazon you got to be careful. I would buy, if you're buying stuff like this and brushes, I would go with either Blick or the brush guys for brushes, obviously, but Blick has canvases and art materials that are way cheaper and better quality too. Or well, actually, you can get the same stuff on Amazon. I only have it on Amazon because it's convenient, since I can have a list there. But so you could go and use that list on Blick and just look them up on Blick. They're all listed on my Amazon shop, and then you could use that on Blick when you're searching. Blick doesn't have that kind of a shop function like the Amazon shop does. So I can't list, everything on Blick like I do.
Very good.
All right, so we're just getting down to the end here, just adding these. I'm going to add more of this pink and coral color down here. And see how we had that mid-tone in, like I said, and so we don't have to put that in. It's already in, so it's already creating these kind of shadowed areas when we add this highlight in. I've got one more rock to put in, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get all of this done, and especially this part back here, so we don't have to paint around it, So just going to get all of this in here, and there's some more of this blue down in here. So see how we're kind of pulling through, creating these waves, kind of ish things, and there is like a kind of a little bit brighter section right in here, so I'm going to go ahead and use this phthalo blue. I'm going to use a little bit of that teal color with it, but mostly just the phthalo blue. And there's some sections in here where there's some brighter color. Get some of the Quinacridone burnt orange here. Mix it kind of with that teal color. Get that kind of a grayish brown. Just scrape it through this area here, just to give it another color, because we've got a lot of that orange. And I probably could be using a bigger palette knife for this section. Let me go ahead and use a little bit bigger one. I'm running out of paint here, so I'm just trying to kind of use what I've got here. Everything's getting a little bit dried up. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of white too. Maybe a little bit of this pink color. So transitioning between this pink and this color, just add the two, mix the two together. And this is the area where our rock's going to be, but we've got color, on either side of it, so, and above it. So just trying to kind of spread this out so that it creates a good transition between these colors. Pretty. Right. A little bit of the, what are you laughing at? Phthalo blue.
The people
hate that I'm left out of the jokes. I don't get to read the chat.
Some people would like you to cover the eyes on the rock, please.
Which rock?
The rock there in like the lower middle.
Lower middle, right here. These two eyes. I see them now.
In the mouth. So either put glasses on it or something. I don't know. That's
funny. Okay, I'll get rid
Can you just put a paper towel over it or something while you're...
I don't even remember doing that.
Wait a minute. Let me zoom in on it first.
Okay.
Just so it visits them in their dreams.
Okay.
That's much better. Oh, yeah.
Where's the mouth? Right here?
Yeah.
We have a tile in our bathroom that I don't know if you notice it, but there are really funky faces in our tile in our bathroom. And I don't know if it's just that
I haven't noticed that.
I spend a lot of time in there gazing at it or what, but yeah, no, there's some weird faces happening in our tile in the bathroom. Add just a little bit of this yellow to some of these rocks that's peeking over the edge just a little bit. Not that much though.
Well, hopefully that zoom in isn't the thumbnail for this video.
No. No. Definitely not. Okay. What are you eating, Mo? I can hear him snap. What are you chewing on back there? Worried he's snacking on my brushes or something. Okay. It's a little bit hodgepodge right now. I'm going to get some of this darker. I'm already out of the Quinacridone burnt orange again. Get some of the darker color down in here. I'm using the knife to just kind of draw through here. Okay. All right, let's put in the rocks that are in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a small palette knife here. Draw them in with that. And this is just kind of a small collection of rocks through here. Wow, we're already 2 hours. I thought this was going to be an hour long max. I seriously thought, oh, this would be a couple hours. Or an hour maybe. I was like, this is going to be a short one, told Mark. Famous last words. And it's just got a lot of, it's a little bit more tricky than some, because there's a lot of, anytime you've got stacks of stacks, you know, then it makes it a little trickier. If it was just like one layer of rocks, it wouldn't have been any time at all, or just the mount, you know, just this part or something. But since we've got ocean, rocks, ocean, you know, you can't do it all at once in one layer at a time. You gotta kind of build it up. Okay, so trying to define these outer borders of some of these rocks. Kind of weird shape. Okay, and then getting that blue highlight color. Kind of hard because this is super wet right now. Doesn't want to lay down new color. Okay, and then wipe that off. Wipe this off. Oops, I let it dry on there. If you let your paints dry on here, or it, dries, you can use alcohol to get it off, rubbing alcohol. You just soak them in rubbing alcohol. All right, tap that through. I'm gonna get a little bit of the brighter phthalo blue. These ones get a little bit of sun. These are a little bit brighter. Yeah, they are, and they're like, it's time to go out. Getting out some of that red in that area. I didn't want it so red. Right through there. It's our highlight area. Making some of that kind of orangey sky color. I know, I'm almost done. They're just like, are you done? I'm just checking to see if you're done, because could really use some dinner and a trip outside. They've been actually really good. So adding more of that pink down here, adding some of it down in here. And then this dark color right up underneath right here. Dark teal. Hi guys. I know. Dark teal. I'm in the shadows of these rocks. And there's a little bit of this rock coming out here too. Didn't do. Okay, we are almost done. I'm gonna get a little bit more of that blue. Use it down here, that dark blue that I was using on these rocks up here. Just shadow this area of the water right here. Shadow these areas. They're already pretty dark, but just since I introduced this new color, which is kind of this darker blue, just gonna introduce it all over so it's unifies everything. You know, you don't want it in one place. Got kind of a wave coming through right there that I was trying to scrape that off, but it made it worse, so we're just going to make it into a rock. Yep. Okay, sorry, Ann. I know.
No. It's just remind me of our promise. Just like happy. Just happy.
I'm almost done. Okay.
I'm just thinking of how the how Mo's going to react to the bell.
How what?
Mo's going to react to the bell.
To the bell. Oh, we got some bell.
Oh yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm trying to get. Okay, so I think I am going to just tone down this. This is all dry now. So what you can do is just take a large brush, and I'm going to use the Ultramarine Blue and Purple, I think. Maybe a little bit of the burnt sienna, just to tone it down a little bit so it's not so bright. But lots of water. You can use glazing medium too if you want to. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of the phthalo blue. Yeah, okay. So, but I want it nice and dark. So I'm just going to go over this whole section here. Try not to get it on the sky, which I just did. See how that darkened that up, and then I'm going to use it on here too. That just ensures I've got, I've got my shadows, got good contrast. And then I can, I can tone it down as needed too. So I'm gonna go ahead and, well, these are still too wet to do down here, but you could do it on those rocks as well. Now they look kind of purple, so I don't know if I love that. So I'm gonna go back and do one more layer on there. Or just wipe off parts of it. It's probably better just to do that. Well, yeah, I can wipe it off. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So, and then down in here, get the white, almost pure white, and just do some sections in here of that white suds that are trailing through here. And the more this dries and then you come back in and add more layers, the more kind of interesting your textures will get, because you'll have these under textures that happen, and then you're adding these, on top. I feel like I could have gotten a little bit more browns through here. Excuse the bone noises in the background here. Hey, at least they're being quiet.
Yeah, there was only one neighbor walking by that had to be parked at, so
Okay,
that was good.
Fortunately, it's a low. It's too hot out for all the neighbors to be walking tonight, so get a lot of barking going on. Just making sure I've got these highlight areas good. All right, I'm going to stop there. I can keep on going with this forever and keep adding more and more, but I think we got it fairly good. I'm going to add just a little bit. I feel like this blue and this blue are very different, so I'm going to add a little bit of this blue from the water up in here, just to kind of make sure that they're similar. And I can add a little bit of the blue, the ultramarine blue down in the water too, the ultramarine blue and purple down in the water in places too, to kind of do the opposite and do some of this color that's up here in the rocks down here, so that it all kind of merges and looks like the same, painting. But, okay, I think that's good. We'll stop there. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed getting to show it with you guys.
Yeah, there's some people who are a little hesitant because it's palette knife and it's not a normal tool they use, but just give it a try. It's just paint.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's basically the same, same thing. You could do the same thing with brush too. So, if you absolutely, don't like palette knife, you could do these same properties, same colors, and, general things just using your brush and dragging it the same way, kind of dry brushing and creating textures. I'll do it real quick while Mark's talking. Here, I'll show you this little section over here. I'll do a little bit of the wave with the brush instead. So just kind of loading it up fairly loosely and holding my brush almost flat to the canvas and just dragging it that way. See how you can get the same kind of look. Go ahead, hon. I knew it. Called it. Somebody's here.
All right. So, on that note,
Why did you do the bell?
because that's tradition.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Okay, we're back. All right. So, our first super chat tonight was from Patty, and she says, "You have changed my life."
Oh.
Enough said.
Oh, thank you, Patty. Wow.
And then from Laura, she says, "Thank you both. As always, you make our days so much brighter."
Oh.
So thank you, Laura, and thank you, Patty,
That's
for
so
the super
sweet.
chats. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And I agree with
great.
Patty. You have changed my life.
Yeah, you changed mine. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm actually liking this brush, for just some of these finishing details. So you might try that, just to add some of these little finessing parts that you can't get with the palette knife. So that was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it too. And I'm going to sign it with my little brush here. Yeah, and we'll get out of here. Mark's
So just
probably not going to have dinner tonight.
Oh,
Sorry,
no,
hon.
I will. So just a real quick reminder for those who are watching this live or this week, the kaleidoscope over there on thankfulart.com. Sign up through the email,
Yes.
and you get enter a chance to win a free
Free kaleidoscope entry.
entry class. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you'll
free
be able to
kaleidoscope. Yeah, the
Course.
kaleidoscope 2021 course.
right.
Well, yeah, and then I think it's just the basic level one, and then the freebie. My free video starts on Wednesday. So, or no, Thursday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's the official giveaway starts, but we've been running it already through the website. So we've been collecting names for a couple weeks now, or a week or so now. So, so if you've already entered and you've got something that said, do you want to enter it? Or, when you signed up for our newsletter, if it said, do you want to enter the giveaway, then you're already entered. So you don't have to enter again. But anyhow, yeah, so we'll be announcing that probably this weekend, because by the 21st, we got to turn in the name. So it'll be before the next video, I believe. Yeah, because next videos, yeah. So, all right. I'm going to stop. Just keep adding new stuff to it. This is fun. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. We'll see you next time. Bye.